Because one day soon, we'll all be gone. So I don't care what you might say. God gonna use me anyway.
That is the voice of Candi Staton, our guest on this week's edition of Conversations from Studio 5. You heard her voice on stages around the world for more than 70 years, and she's showing no signs of slowing down. In fact, for the first time in 40 years, she's earned a Grammy nomination. Let's go back to, at least for now, where were you when you get the news that your latest project is nominated for a Grammy? How'd you get it?
That was the last thing I was expecting to hear.
Really?
40 years?
Whoa.
I had 4 of them earlier, 4 nominations, but I never got never won.
Uh-huh.
And so Bill Carpenter, bless his heart, he kept pushing and he kept pushing. He don't give up.
I love it.
And he just kept pushing. You don't get a Grammy. You go. I'm putting you in. I said, I don't even want to do this album.
Oh, no.
I said, I really don't want to do it. He said, you're going to do this album. You're going to go back to your roots, the roots. We want a roots album and put it in the roots section. I said, what is that? He said, it's a section in the Grammys where there's, you go back to the old things that you used to do. And you do the songs and you go back. We did It's Gonna Rain,
yes.
Mama's song, my mother's song.
Yes, uh-huh.
And we went back to all that Peace in the Valley with my sister Maggie.
Yes.
And I wrote quite a few of the songs. One of the songs that really touched me, I guess, I don't know why it did, because it's so mean. Reach down and touch heaven for me, where I played the piano.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And everybody think God is up there, but he's down there.
Yeah, with you.
With people
that's
begging for bread, people that don't have places to live, people that are hungry, people that are begging, people that just don't have it together. They're on the verge of suicide. That's where Jesus is. That's where the Holy Spirit comes in.
Yeah.
Right there. And that's where we come in as his advocates. And we reach down there and we pick them up and we give to them and we help them. That makes him happy.
Yes.
That's his heaven.
He says
That's
it's the
his
least
heaven.
of these.
For the least of these, do it unto the least of these. And that's what we do. That's my joy. I can see somebody but God tells me who's a fraud. You got the Holy Ghost. He'll tell you, so he's just playing you. So I just pass over. I say, well, have a blessed day. But then there are some that I remember. He was just lying there on the ground, and I looked at him, and he said, well, you're coming up to someone, and he give him $20. And I said, okay. So when I got there, he said, that's the one. So I gave him $20. He said, I haven't eaten in 3 days. I said, well, you can get a few hamburgers. God told me to give this to you. I said, he speaks to me and tell me who to give to. So that's that song and one day I was just sitting there and I began to just write it. I just started singing it. And then I said, Bill told me to put it on. So I did.
I love it. I love the whole entire project. I will say, while we're talking about the tracks on the project, one that makes me cry is not you singing, but when you talk about 1963.
Oh my God. Yes. I was there. I was there. We were there that Sunday. It was a Sunday morning. We were guests at this local church. And we were in Birmingham. At the time, I was married to my kid's father. And I had 2 little boys, Marcel and Marcus. And I was pregnant with my 3rd little boy. And we were there. And I had already sung, preparing for the pastor to preach. And this deacon burst through the door. And he said, get up and get out. Now, he said, there's been a catastrophe. Down the street, he said, there 4 little girls just got killed. 16th Street Baptist Church just got blown up. And he said, y'all need to get out because it's a mess. It's a mess and you got to go through Birmingham to get to where you're going. And I'm like, wow. We got up everything. We put everything together. Whoa, we got downtown. It was a mess. People were throwing bottles. People were breaking in stores. People were pushing cars over. The black people pushing the white cars.
Understood.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be real.
Yeah.
But the black cars, they would say, y'all can go. Y'all can just go. But they were so angry at the KKK until it was horrible. Somehow through prayer and keeping our minds focused on God, he brought us through that. And we were so amazed that we got through it, because they would say, just go. And they moved the cars back so we could go. And my two little boys on the floor, they were crying and shaking, and mommy, we gonna die. I said, no, you're not gonna die. We getting home. And so we got through it. And the little girls' names was what bothered me. Nobody recognized their names. And right now, I can't think of them.
We're going to make sure we will share all of them.
I can't think of them right off the top of my head. I didn't write them down.
We will share
But we will share those names.
Absolutely. What does it mean for you that this album that's nominated for a Grammy, your executive producer, but your son is working on the project with you?
Yeah, we did 13 albums together.
Wow.
We've got 13 gospel albums. He's done all of the albums with me. We sit down in that little studio and we sit there, and my daughter and I and him, we'll be writing stuff, right? It took us 2 years to do this.
2 years.
2 years. Every year we would say, we're going to put this album out this year, and then we'd go in and change it. It was like, that song, I said, that ain't fitting. It's just, I don't feel it. I don't feel it. We need to do something about this one. And so I got William Bell to come in to help me with God's Got a Telephone.
Yes.
He's been my friend for years. We did lots of things together. And so we're about the same age. And so I got him to sing some gospel. And that was a blessing.
I love it. Another song that I really love speaks to me is God's Gonna Use Me.
Anyway, that's the church message.
Anyway.
Yes, Lord. Yes. Hallelujah. I don't care what you might say. God gonna use me anyway. And I got a lot of slack when I was going to Europe. Us.
All right.
We got a lot of slack. I'm going to hell and all that good stuff. So one day I just got mad. And I said, I'm going to write you something. I'm going to tell y'all off. You can talk about me as much as you please. The more you talk, I'm going to bend my knees.
Yes.
Because God, you don't know what God, you better stick to your call and leave mine alone. Because one day soon, we'll all be gone. So I don't care what you might say. God going to use me anyway.
I love it. I love it. Let's go back to the early years for a little bit. So Bishop Jewel discovers you and your sister.
Yeah.
And starts you guys off.
Jewel Gospel Trio.
Yeah.
Those were good days. I was 12.
12?
12, yeah. With the same type voice I have now. I sound
At
like
12.
I can prove it. If you go up on the internet, you can bring down some of the songs that the Jewel Gospel Trio did. I think you still got them up there someplace. You can find them.
Okay.
I did one of the songs I did was Jesus is Listening. Who gave that to me? One of the quartet singers gave it to me to sing it. And it's like sin is to blame. I'm singing on that one. And you wouldn't know I was 12. And we had perfect harmony. And the good thing, we had a full-fledged band in the 50s. Now everybody gonna say, we started the bands. No, you didn't. Stop lying. You know you didn't have no band in the 50s. Yeah. They wouldn't let bands in churches. They said it was the devil's music.
Right, that's right.
But Bishop Jewel, her whole church was like, you thought you was at a disco when you went into her church, because we be dancing, honey, all in the front. We had a guitar player, drummer, keyboards, gospel steel.
Oh, wow.
And keyboard. I mean, we had it going on.
I love it.
And so my sister-in-law took us to the church, and they had a Tuesday night. On Tuesday nights, they had contests. You know, they would have a contest.
Yeah.
And my sister and I, we always sung together.
Oh.
We would be singing in our beds. And Mama would come in with the switch. Shut up, can't nobody sleep up in here. So we would go around the house and we always harmonized. And when she took us, that was her church, my sister-in-law was named Efrem. She said, I'm gonna take you girls to church. And y'all gonna sing. And I told Bishop Jewell that y'all could sing. I said, okay, so we knew every old hymn, everything. We've been in church all our lives, so we knew everything. And they called us up that night. We tore it up.
I love it.
Because the song that we sung, everybody knew, you know, and the band caught on. And Bishop Harrison, he was a father of the gospel steel. He started that gospel steel. He could make that gospel steel sound like a train. He could make it sound like a voice. And when I quit singing, the steel took over. And my God, the people were dancing. I mean, they were jumping off balconies. They tore the place up. They had to reset every chair because everybody. The Davis sisters, I don't know if you know the Davis sisters. Okay, when we first started, our first show was with the Davis sisters when we got to our first record with Nashborough.
Wow.
We were on the show, and I was a little bitty girl, and I went to Ruth's room, Ruth Davis. I said, hey, I just want to meet you. I love you. She said, if you don't get out of here, little gal, and stop worrying me. I said, oh, I'm so sorry, but I just like the way you. She said, get out of here. I'm trying to get dressed. So we had to open. Of course we had to open.
Right.
So they set the band up. Set the whole band up. God, I love it.
Wow.
I love it. We started singing. The folks started dancing. I looked around, the Swanee Quintet, the Blind Boys, Ruth Davis and the Davis Sisters, the Caravans. Everybody was standing behind us as we tore the place down with the music. And people were dancing all over that place. Boy, I said, I bet you won't call me a little girl get out here no more. They couldn't follow us.
Wow.
Nobody could follow us. So they had to start putting us last. Last, because we had the music. And Mahalia Jackson came in. I met her in Nashville. At the Grand Ole Opry.
Wow.
I was peeking through the peephole, trying to, because I loved her. Oh, she was so wonderful to me. I loved her, and I wanted to meet her so badly. And I went to the peephole, Marion, her keyboard player. She said, do you want to meet her? I said, yes, ma'am. And so she opened the door. She said, this is one of those little singing girls. She said, you come here. And she hugged me. And she said, I'm going to watch you tonight. And she was standing in the curtains watching us that night. I know we never failed to tear it up. Okay, we never failed, because we had 3 little girls. All 3 of us had lead voices. My sister had a lead voice. I had just 3 lead voices, and the youngest was 9, and I was 12. My sister was 14.
Wow.
And so we wore socks and petticoats and little ponytails and bangs, and we looked like little children. And we get out there with a band like that. We was a phenomenon. It was hard. Oh, it was awful. It was. What's his name? Michael Jackson had nothing on us.
I love it.
Michael had nothing on us. We started all that stuff. So
I love it.
It was amazing. And but I just love that era of my life. I really do. And I wasn't ashamed. And my thing was, this is what I used to do with the Jewel Trio. And I got famous for it. Jump off stages. I was 95 pounds. So, I don't care how high the stage was. I would get to singing, oh, yeah. Help. And then I jump on the stage. And the little children would come running to me, you know, and they would just be hugging me and they said, I want to be just like you. I said, okay. And then I'd run back up on the stage and I would sing. I was Lord have mercy.
I love it.
Never, ever felt any kind of fear. You just knew.
Wow.
You knew that was a God-given gift. And I used it for his glory.
What do you think it is about what you have done?
Mm-hmm.
You've been in this industry now 7 decades, I guess it would be safe to say.
75 years.
75 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's allowed you to last, because it hasn't all been good, but you're still doing this.
Yeah, I'm going to do it until the Lord calls me home. That's my job. He gave me a purpose, and I'm standing on that purpose. I'm standing firm. Nothing can stop me. I've had all kinds of obstacles. Satan has tried every trick in the book to kill me because he can't kill me, because God ain't gonna let him. Been through cancer. I've been through divorces. I've been through hard times. I've been through everything that you can imagine. I'm a mother of 5 grown children that I was a single mom that had to raise them by myself. Because, you see, one thing about me, you got to understand, I'm not going to take it. See, I'm not taking a lot of stuff a lot of people would take. And when you start to put your hands on me, I'm out of there. I'm not going to wait around and wait for y'all to say, ashes to ashes and dust to dust. I'm not gonna wait around for that. So I see it coming, and I said, no, I don't think this is gonna work no more, because this ain't right. Something ain't right about this, and you're not gonna mistreat my children. You're not gonna do what you're doing to my children, and you got to go. And I promised God that I would never have to take anything from anybody. Because my first husband told me, you need me, I don't need you. I said, a man will never be able to say that to me again. So I've always been independent and tenacious and had that, you don't tell me that. If you tell me no, I'm gonna prove you wrong. That's just been my attitude all my life. Don't say no to me. If you ever say no to me, I got something to prove. And David Ruffin said it one time, and I told him one time, I went to see the Staple Singers, and I met David Ruffin for the first time. David said, who is this little country girl? I was country, didn't have nothing, because all the money that I was trying to make, I was spending on my children. And at that time, their clothes cost $5.98 to make a whole outfit, shoes and all.
Wow.
When they were little, little clothes was just little baby clothes. Look at them now. Shoes, $40. Oh my goodness. But anyway, I wouldn't dress right. I would give my money, everything I had for them. And I learned how to sew and make their stuff as well. And so David walked in there, and I was with Purvis. David said, who is this little country girl? Purvis, is that your girlfriend? Purvis said, no, she's just a friend. I had stopped saying with Jules then, and I was call myself married and having babies now. So I said, no, we're just friends. We've been knowing each other for years. We grew up together on the road. And he said, yeah, I didn't think that was you. I must have looked a mess. Oh, no. I must have looked a mess, because he said, ooh, no, I didn't think so. And I looked at David. I said, let me tell you something, man. You don't know me. I looked at David Ruffin. I said, you don't know me. I said, you're going to pay to see me one day. You're going to pay to see me. He said, yeah, whatever. And he walked out. Within a few years, I got with Rick Hall. My first record was I'd Rather Be an Old Man's Sweetheart Than a Young Man's Fool. Oh my God. It went 700,000 because they thought I was Aretha.
Wow.
And before they knew who I really was. And I started opening for all these people. I opened one time for them, for the Temptations.
Yes.
And David, I met him in the hallway. I said, "Hey, David." He said, "Hey, little girl, what's up with you?" I said, "Oh, hey, it is what it is, man. I'm just," I said, "You remember me?" He says, "I don't think I do remember you." I said, "You should." I said, "Remember what you said to me? And remember how you laughed at me and said, when I was with Purvis that time in Cleveland, when y'all were," he said, kind of, I said, "Yeah, you laughed at me and you told Purvis didn't look like I was his girlfriend and all that stuff you said to me. Remember what you said?" He said, "Oh." I said, "Well, this is she. I told you pay to see me." We became best friends. We became best friends.
Nice.
We sure did.
Well, let me name a few people for you and just get your reaction because I know you have connection to them. Ray Charles.
Oh, gosh. Oh, my goodness, Ray. I opened for him at the Aladdin for 5 days. And we became good friends in 5 days. That's what I was drinking. The Lord delivered me from alcohol.
Right.
I was in alcoholic for 13 years, but God delivered me from that. And I was still drinking when I was at the Aladdin with him. I had a song out called "Stop and Smell the Roses" that went big in Vegas. And so I used to go down to his dressing room every night. We would spend an hour before I went on before him. And he would order amaretto and coffee in a thermos. And we'd sit there and drink amaretto and coffee. And we'd get a little tipsy, and he told me, everything's in that movie. He already told me.
Wow.
He told me. But the one thing he told me that stuck with me that I never forget, he said, "You're a female Ray Charles." I said, "What? What are you saying?" Yeah, I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "You sing gospel, you're part gospel, country, and R&B. And you mix them somehow together like I do. And it comes out very soulful." He said, "That's what I'm saying." I said, "You are right." I just wish I had a witness, a witness to hear him say that. But he said that to me. And it was the greatest compliment I have ever had from anybody. And I loved him, and I got a chance to walk him to the stage in New York for the last time. He died probably a year later. I was at his dressing room. I was on the show with the David Guest had a lot of us on the show that night. And I walked him to the dressing. I knocked on the door. I said, "Ray." He said, "Yeah." I said, "Tell Ray Candi Staton's out here. I want to see him." He said, wait a minute. Wait till I put my pants on." He said, I'll be right out. I wanted to walk me to the stage. And I did. I walked him and I had him like this, on his arm. And we talked. I said, "How are you really doing?" Because his feet were swollen.
Yeah.
And he had on house shoes, And I said, "How are you really doing?" And I talked to him about God. I said, "Do you really know the Lord?" I said, "I want you to know Jesus." I said, "We don't know when God's going to call us home, but I really want you to know him. Ray, I want to spend eternity with you." And so I walked him to the stage. We sat there for a moment and talked, and they called him home. And I went back to my dressing room. But I knew him so well. I loved Ray. He was so sweet. I really loved him.
Jim and Tammy Faye Baker.
Oh, word. How long is this interview going to be? We look like we here all day.
We're almost done.
When I first got saved, I had to give up. I was in the secular music industry for 13 years. Got all those records, Young Heart, Run Free. Did all those hit records. I'm Just a Prison, Sweet Feeling. another man's woman and another woman's man. Some of them I didn't sing after I got saved. I could sing some of them. God said, "You never sing that one no more. You never sing that one no more." Okay. I did all those records. And then I kept hearing him say, "It's time for you to come back. Come back. It's time for you to come back." And I said, no, I don't want to come back. I said, I like it out here, going to churches and healing the sick and raising the dead and casting out demons. And that was fun, and I loved all that stuff. So he said, you got to go back and bring those in that followed you. I'm sending you back. And so Bill, I said, I'll never sing the blues again. Never sing the blues. I'll never sing it again. And then when I got divorced from John, all the churches closed their doors. Everything I had on, lined up. I just did a new record called Here's a Blessing. The distributor dropped me. TBN dropped me. Everybody dropped me. But that ain't the question you asked me, though. But I didn't have nothing else. And I cried out to God. I said, God, wherever door you open, I'm going through it. So Bill called me and said, they want you in Nashville to sing Stand By Your Man. I said, Bill, you know I don't sing them songs no more. And so he said, well, I'm just telling you, you won't sit there and starve. It's up to you. But you got an opening. And during 4 o'clock, I had been fasting that day. And God spoke to me early that morning and said, you can do it. Is it truth? I said, well, yeah, it's true. He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. As long as it's the way and the truth and the life, you can do it. So I called the songs that I did when I was in the secular world life songs. Songs about people songs, and things that we go through, divorce, and things that happen to us on a day-to-day basis that nobody wants to talk about. But you can sing about them. And I got to thinking, I said, you know what? They always told me if I sung the blues, Mama said I was going to hell. I said, what? I don't think I'm going to hell, Lord. I think you're leading me in a different direction. And I just, so back to Tammy and Jim was the first one to put me on after the church dropped me. Yeah, after the churches and all gospel people dropped me. Jim and Tammy called me, and I was with them for about, I guess, a year or so. And then I got with TBN and stayed with them for 25 years. Never sung a second song in 25 years. I had to learn Young Hearts Run Free all over again, so I forgot the lyrics. Because I wasn't singing nothing but gospel music. That's all I ever wanted to sing, gospel music. And after that drop, God allowed me to go back to sing the songs I could sing. And I was drawing crowds, 85,000. Record came out over there. It was an old record that they didn't know. They only thought I knew 2 songs. Stand By Your Man and Young Hearts Run Free. But they learned I had a whole lot of songs that they had never heard. So there was a compilation album came out. It sold about 150,000, about 3 months. And so they started booking me in these clubs and stuff. And I would sing the songs that I had, the old songs. And then I had a new record come out called You Got the Love, which was gospel. And then another song that came out was Hallelujah anyway. So I would always end my shows singing to the Lord and inviting them to God. And I would break Young Hearts Run Free down to where, we call it like we be cooking. You know the expression, and dun, 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 dun. And I would be able to talk and preach during those times. And I'd give the band solos and all that stuff. So, and then there were people that were coming up to me after the shows were over in Europe. Oh, but they talked about me now. They talked about me now. Don't, that's what that song's about. I don't care what you might say. God's gonna use me anyway.
I love it.
Yeah, so I would do what I could do. Some of them would, ask me to do those songs. I said, you're gonna have to listen to that record. I don't do that no more.
Wow.
I do what pleases God. He tells me what to sing, and I sing it. In the Ghetto, Stand By Your Man. I'm Just a Prisoner. When I sing I'm Just a Prisoner, I'm talking to him for his good loving.
Yeah.
I'm just a fool. I'm just a fool. Paul said, I'll be a fool for Christ.
Amen.
Bound in chains, I don't ever want to be free, because I know you'll never leave me. But my heart couldn't stand the pain. And I would take I would sing them to me and him, but they thought I was singing them to a man. I was singing them to a man, but I was singing to my man. So, I mean, you just do things like that when you're led by God. Those that are led by God are the sons and daughters of God. Don't judge people. You don't understand what God has in store for them. You don't know their road. You don't know their journey. They got a different journey than yours. Everybody can't be doing the same thing all the time. We get so cultish, in the churches, and we get so cultish that we can't be individual. God can't speak to us on a one-to-one basis. Send us out to do something real crazy. Because he does stuff like real crazy things that people don't understand. Like, crazy dumb things that you just don't know what he's going to do. He can do the weirdest things. Like my son, I got a book out called, my book is called, what is my book called? Beyond a Shadow of Doubt. My granddaughter over there, she told me, because she helped me with the Jasmine, helped me with my book, Beyond a Shadow of Doubt. And my son, I saw miracles, because my pastor was my father-in-law. And my baby son was ran over by a car. And he was drugged like 3 feet. And that's the greatest miracle I've ever seen in my life. And it took me all the way from there to here. I've had all kinds of people come in my dressing room trying to tell me about some other religion. I know God. I've seen him work. And so Terry, is my son Terry. He was 2, going on 3. And he was going in the back of the car, and my ex-husband didn't see him, and he drug him about 3 feet. And all the skin on one side of his face was off. The skin was completely off of his face. It was oozing water. And I stood him up, and he would just flop to the ground. And I stood him up again, he'd flop to the ground. I said, Jesus, what am I supposed to do? Because that church didn't believe in doctors. They didn't believe in doctors. And that was the doctrine of the church. They didn't believe that. They believed total healing. Stood him up. I looked up to the sky and I said, Lord, what am I supposed to do? He said, what you always do. We had a program at the local radio station down in Birmingham, Alabama. We were living in Warrior. And we'd go there after church, and I would play the piano and sing with the choir. And he would preach 30 minutes. And he said, what you always, I said, you mean to tell me you want me to take this little boy? He said, I am going to heal him. And he said it so plain, it was almost audible. I'm going to heal him. I said, God, is that you? And he said, he didn't say nothing. He spoke, we don't talk much. And so he said, okay. So we went on, I wrapped him up, kind of wiped him off. He was all dirty. I took his little clothes and wrapped him up in a blanket, and he was just humming like, doing that. And so I knew he was in pain. He was in shock as well. But you know what? We brought him back to the home. But now the DJ wanted to call the police on us. And a deacon went in there and said, I wouldn't touch that if I were you. And he stopped calling the police. I passed three emergency rooms. Could have taken to any of them. But I believed God. It was so real. He said, I'm going to heal him. And I said, okay, you said you're going to heal him. You're going to heal him.
Wow.
So I brought him back home, and he was still whining. And he could only use one of his elbows to, and he drug himself like a broken cat, like a cat. When he's broken down, he would whine and go across the bed like this. And I said, I never left his side. I just stood there and prayed in the spirit. I just prayed, God, when you gonna heal him? And so about 3:00 that morning, the saints came by and they prayed over him and they sung songs and they just sat there and I'm telling you, I didn't sleep. At about 3 a.m. in the morning, this old country preacher, never been on TV before in his life, just on the radio, got his overalls on. I went through the corn patch to knock on his door. He lived about a couple of, maybe a half a mile, maybe not even that far, maybe a fourth of a mile somewhere. I went through the corn patch, 3:00 in the morning, knocked on his door. I said, Ella Williams, I said, you got to come, he's worse. He said, I'll be there in a minute. Just as calm. That's when I learned timing. There is a difference in you just laying hands on somebody and thinking they're gonna get healed. There is timing. God, it's timing.
Yeah.
And Elder William knew timing. So he put on his old overalls and came back. We had a big picture window. That's when we had a picture window. And I'm sitting there on the couch and he said, bring that boy here. He was crying. And I took him and sat him in his lap. He sat there in his lap and he was just whining. He was just crying. I was like, what are you waiting on? And he was just sitting there. And he was like, it's gonna be it was in October. He said, it's gonna be a cold winter. I said, it ain't about winter, it's about, why you go there? You go in the winter when you got to heal this boy needs you, Jesus. And he was like, it's getting cold out there. I said, yes, sir, it sure is. And I said, okay. So in a few minutes, he said, he just looked up and he said, he hit him in his back. Heal in the name of Jesus. He said, now go run to your mama. And he ran to me. This is God's heaven truth. And I got somebody, his name is Shelby, Mr. Shelby, was one of the ones that pulled the car up off of him. And he said he's ready to testify. He said, whenever you want me to do it, I'll come down because I'm a witness to this. I said, people don't believe me. I said, but he said, I'm Sammy Shelby. I can call his name.
Wow.
He is a witness to this. He helped pull that car up and pulled that boy out from under it. And he come running to me and he said, stop crying. He said, eat. He hadn't eaten all day. I said, okay. So I got him some grits. Went in there and fixed him some grits. Gave him some grits. He laid in my lap and he went to sleep. I put him in his baby bed. Now, mind you, his face is still dripping water. I laid him on his other side where he went to sleep. I had got a little rest. Now, remember getting up, I heard him jumping up and down. You remember the baby beds that you could pull up the sides?
Yes,
the big old sides. He was in there just jumping. I said, keep jumping. I ran in there. I said, oh my goodness. The face, the skin was back. Brother, give me 5. The skin was back just like mine, like nothing ever happened to him. That was one of the greatest miracles I have ever seen. Within 12 hours, he was back the way he was born. God healed him. Now, you think I'm gonna turn my back on that? That's a sure thing, man. That's a sure thing.
Amen.
I don't care what people might say. God's gonna use me anyway.
I love it. I love it. That's amazing.
Yes.
That's amazing. I'm going to end with this question because my daughter won't forgive me if I don't ask. Young hearts run free. You're still known for it. You've got the kids
Always
singing
will.
it now.
That song will never go. It'll never go out.
And you were
It'll
just
be
telling
there
a
forever.
story about yourself to Mr. Crawford, and he...
No, well, actually, I was with this abusive husband. He was a gangster. I've married some horrible people. But you know what? It was all in my journey to make me strong as I am today.
Amen.
I'm still alive at 86.
86. Wow.
Each thing I went through, I'll be 86 in March next month.
Wow.
Each person I went through was like a lesson to make me stronger than I thought I was. If I go through this and come through it, it makes you strength. You don't give up, you keep pushing. Everything you go through, God allows that to make you stronger. And you don't back down. You don't say, no, I fight. I'm a fighter. I'm a warrior. And so I was telling David Crawford, the man said he would kill my children, he would kill my mama, he would kill everybody if I left him. And I was scared of him. I was so scared of him. I didn't know I couldn't leave him because he promised to kill my kids and everything. And he was horrible. And I would sit and tell David had we would just signed directly to Warner Brothers at that time. And David was my first producer with Warner Brothers. And I would sit there and talk to him. I said, David, hey man, what can I do with this? I said, his guy said he was gonna kill my kids. And he said, he'd be writing. He just kept writing. I'm like, what is he writing? He said, yeah. Well, you're gonna be all right. I said, yeah, I hope so. I said, but I said, he got me afraid. I said, this is the first one I ever been really afraid of. But he kept writing. He just kept writing. And I had to do a show in North Carolina, and I had to come back to finish the album. We had done several songs on the album. I had to come back and finish, and I walked in the studio. Ray Parker Jr. and Ollie Brown and all of those, Denise Williams and all of those, what was his name? I can't remember his name at the moment. They were all, these guys out here in LA. We did it in LA. They were there to do this song. They did their music on it. Ray doing all those beautiful licks on the guitar. And I came in the studio and the music was so pretty. I walked in and I said, wow, this is the most beautiful music I've ever heard. David had fasted 40 days. And he said, I asked God to give me a song that would never go away. Give me a song that would never go away. He said, this song will never end. You're gonna have a song forever. Generations after generations will be able to sing this song. I looked at him, I said, David, because if he turned sideways, he'd like disappear. I mean, he was so skinny. His lips was white. I said, when you gonna eat? He said, now, once we finish this song, we eat. So he went in the studio and he said, you go to lunch, go to lunch. So I went to lunch He said, by the time you come back, I'll have the second verse. I said, okay, all right. So I went to lunch, came back. He said, you ready? I said, well, yeah. He said, let's go in the vocal booth. He went in the vocal booth, gave me a sheet, gave it to me, and he sung it down for me. Mm-hmm. And he let me know exactly how it was supposed to go. Yeah. And it was all about me. The reason is so much feeling in it, I sung my whole story in 3 minutes. And I started singing it. He sung it first. He said, do you need me to do it again? I said, no, I got it. I said, I got it. And so I do, and it started, the music started. I sung it down once, just once. And he said, you can come in now, I got what I want. Wow. He said, you'll never be able to put that feeling in the next one. I said, no, I want to do it again. I said, I was just practicing. He said, no, you weren't practicing. You weren't practicing. That was from your heart. He said, that's what I want. I wanted it from your heart. And that's how Young Hearts Run Free was birthed. And now the young people, I got something on my Instagram the other day. She said, I'm 40 now and I used to go to school. I went to school and my mother would be in the kitchen cooking breakfast dancing off of your song. And I was like, what's she dancing about? I danced too because the music was so pretty. Oh. She said, I just be dancing, jumping with mama. She said, now I'm 42 and I'm listening to what you said. That's a deep song. It hit me. The lyrics just now got to me. Yeah. Just now got to me what you were talking about. He said, and it is just amazing what that song is saying. It's a sad song with a joyful beat. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Nothing
That's
like it. That's the story of Young Hearts Run Free.
Amazing. Candi's Grammy-nominated album is called Back to My Roots. It's available wherever you stream, download, or purchase your music. I want to thank you so much for joining us for this week's edition of Conversations from Studio 5. We appreciate you making this your weekly destination for uplifting interviews with a strong focus on faith. For more interviews and lifestyle and entertainment, be sure to visit our YouTube page simply by searching Studio 5 with Efrem Graham. Hope I'll see you right here again next week on the podcast.